Welcome back to the Broker Power Up podcast, the AIME podcast for strategies, stories, and insights to help you close more loans. I'm Tommy Golightly, joined by Jonathan Haddad.
Yes, sir. I've added the headphones, my friend. It is
Welcome to the
Chris.
club.
I know it feels good. It's crystal clear. Next up, we got our gaming tournament right after this for you and I. So,
Oh, we're already
yeah,
set. We don't even have to move.
no, man, no. It's been awesome, and so these things keep getting bigger and bigger. So it's a lot of fun. It's crazy, Tommy. For those that don't know, we've talked about it before, but if you didn't see the episode, so this is like Tommy's brainchild of all this. And one of the big things is like even the structure of StreamYard and the way he does and the way he facilitates it. And it's been nice because I can just jump in and run. I don't have to think too much. But the coolest part about it, Tommy, is if you see my inbox flooded with people asking me for mentorship because of this,
Interesting.
oh yeah, I'll
And they
send
call
you
out the
some of the
podcast
clips.
specifically.
Yes. So I watched your podcast and I love the way you guys do X. And I'm gonna send you some of those snippets. I thought it was very it was just cool to see like people are reaching out to get that additional support and help. I will say this: I currently don't have the capacity for mentorship. I am working on something for a lot of people out there because we have been getting people just been reaching out quite a bit. So thank you, Tommy. Thanks for putting this together. Thanks for
Of course.
facilitating it. It's become a huge value add and quite a fun part of my week every week. So I appreciate you.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
Appreciate you. I look forward to it every week.
Mhm.
But we do have a lot going on today, so we should get into it.
Yes, sir.
We have the Broker Buzz, where we dive into the top 8 posts of the week from the Brokers Our Best Facebook group and discuss what's trending, what's working, and what you need to know. If you want to see your post featured on the podcast, use hashtag the Broker Buzz or hashtag Broker Power Up. We'll know what you mean. We'll find it. We'll get it answered here on the show. And then we're going to have the sales pitch training where John helps us become better salespeople. And then we will wrap things up with my favorite segment, Storytime with John. But first, as we start every podcast, a fortune cookie. Oh, you got different ones. Mine are clear bags.
Oh, yeah, this one is a little different. I got roses on them.
Oh, fancy.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go.
Is there no fortune again?
No fortune.
What did that mean again?
Grab another one.
All right, I got it.
Yeah.
We're prepared. And so we also need to look up, maybe not, if you feel so obliged to leave a comment to know what it means when a fortune is barely in the cookie.
We'll take it.
And it means I don't have to make a mess on my desk, which is a plus. We got your luck will manifest in personal growth.
Jim Rohn said something that always sits with me. Don't ask for things to be better. No. Don't ask for things to be easier. Wish that you were better. And I love it. I love that quote so much. The amount of times growing up. So, for those that don't know, I'm first generation Middle Eastern American, and there were things that I thought like I should want or have growing up. I was like, oh, my friends have this, I should have it. And then as I got older, went through life, I realized that all of that stuff I thought I wanted literally had nothing to do with what I actually wanted. The reality is, I had to fix a lot of things internally. That's just the truth, Tommy. And the faster people get to that point in their life, the better it is. And here's why I know this to be true. Most people always say, what, Tommy? They say, I wish I would have done this sooner. I wish I would have learned that sooner. So as opposed to waiting to get older to get the wisdom, just start applying it now. And by no means am I the most, am I filled with wisdom? I'm learning a lot. I got to slow down. There's certain things I'm always working on every single day. Here's what I do know. What's in front of me and what I have is a direct correlation of the work that I put in. And I do a lot of work on myself personally, whether it's therapy, mentorship, my own self accountability, my own disciplines. There's a lot of it. And then the people that you surround yourself with too, they got to be the types of people that don't make excuses for you and don't make excuses for themselves. So that's my take on it. Would love to hear yours.
Yeah. I don't believe in luck, or I don't believe on counting on luck. And strictly believe in what you said, and I'd rather be better, is luck is in the moment, where if you're better for everything that you're coming across. And manifesting in personal growth, I think personal growth is up to you. It's not happenstance. It's not RNG. It's not random. But yeah. So I don't know if I really resonate with this one because I just don't. I believe I know luck exists, obviously. You can get lucky. You can win the lottery, whatever.
Yep.
But I'm not. Uh, I think personal growth is something you do and it is not random.
I agree. I do. There's validity there. It is something you have to choose to start working on.
Absolutely. So let's dive into the broker buzz. First question this week: is there such a thing as a refinance to get your ex off the mortgage, but keep your same rate? I have a previous borrower saying Mr. Cooper is doing this for them. I didn't know it was possible. Is this a thing? Conventional loan.
So if it's a conventional loan, for though, okay, so if you buy a house with a significant other, and you could do it one of two ways. Well, I guess one of three ways. Number one, the first way you can do it is you buy the house together. Both of your credit reports are taken into consideration. Both your incomes are taken into consideration. You're on the loan and on the title, so you're on the mortgage and the title directly. In that instance, the only way to get that other person off of the loan is through a refinance. There's no other way to do it. Now, could some people choose to take a loss? So, could Mr. Cooper say, we'll do this for you and we'll take a loss on it? The answer is yes. They can elect to do that. That is a real thing that they can do. But a refinance has to occur because you're updating the credit bureaus. Remember, the decision was made, the credit bureaus, your credit, the investors who gave you this loan, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, said this loan works based off of these circumstances. Two people are on the loan. We use both their incomes to quote. We did all this. So now we can't just remove that person from a liability standpoint because the investor was anticipating them to be able to pay the bills of the mortgage. So God forbid if it's you and I, Tommy, on the loan, and I'm like, I want to get off the mortgage. Well, the investor's not going to say, all right, John, get off the mortgage. They want to know, can Tommy qualify for this loan alone without John being
Ah,
on the loan? Because if Tommy can't, and you're trying to just remove him from the mortgage, well, what happens if Tommy can't pay the mortgage anymore? God forbid. Well, they can't come after me anymore. I'm off the mortgage. So an entire reassessment, an entire underwrite has to occur. The investor needs to protect their asset. At the end of the day, they're giving you money to do this loan. They're protecting their asset. That's one way. Number two, which is what might be happening here. Number two is this: you do a loan with somebody else and you just put them on the title of the loan. So in this instance here, a perfect example of this is here's a perfect example of why this would someone would do this. You don't attack the other person's liability. So if you're married to somebody, as opposed to it hitting their credit report, it only hits your credit report. So if you qualify for that mortgage by yourself, you're good to go. The other person's just on the title of the loan. So if I pulled the paperwork, the other person, I'd see their name in it, it would appear. However, removing that person who's on just the title is actually simple. It's a quick claim deed that you can put together. An attorney could do it. Honestly, a title company could do it for you and record it with county. It's like $50 to $100 depending on where you live. But you could remove that other person. You do need, they have to be there to sign. So
okay.
you
Because
know,
they're
if
signed on, they have to be signed off.
yeah, so it's like you're going through a divorce, you want to secretly not have your, wife or husband, and you can't do that. That does not work. But you could easily remove somebody if they're just on title. And then the last way is you put them on nothing. You don't put them on title, you don't put them on mortgage, and therefore they have no decision making. If someone's on title, you can't do anything to the title without the other person's permission on there.
Cool.
Mhm,
I think that answers that one. Next
mhm.
question. No longer crushing banks on conforming. Is anyone else seeing this? It was always in my brain as a broker that I could always win pricing against the generic bank as long as it was government or conforming. I am getting shopped on so many deals and losing. Last two I lost were 95% LTV conforming. One of them, I would have had to make $1,000 BPC with a lender at the top of the loan sifter. The other, I would have had to make zero point 0.8. In the past, never seen banks really be able to compete with brokers besides Ameris.
That yeah. So that's the companies. I think it's Amerisave. Okay, so here's what's happening. if you look at companies right now, they're taking major losses. So, some of the biggest companies that are publicly traded literally had 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 million dollars in quarterly losses. That's a real number. They're paying for the pricing. So they're taking losses and saying, we're just going to do it to bring this in house. Why are they doing that? Well, in my eyes, it's pretty black and white. It's very simple. I did this in retail for a really long time. All right, we'll take the loss here. We're going to refi the client in 6 to 12 months when rates come down. So, yes, they're getting more competitive. Yes, they're getting more aggressive. But keep in mind, they are willing to lose money, especially on grade A paper clients. These are clients with high credit scores, 20% down. Anybody that tells you that they don't look at it that way is a liar. Don't be naive. Don't be ignorant. They do look at grade A paper differently. So they will lose money to retain it and bring it in house because once it's in their life cycle, it's very hard to leave their life cycle. That's just a big, big area of opportunity there. So it is happening. We got to be in front of it. And the last thing is this: I don't know your comp plan. I don't know if you're a broker owner. Don't lose business. It's really simple. Don't lose business pending your compensation. I don't know how it works. Not my place, but don't lose loans if you don't have to lose loans. It's really straightforward.
Cool. Is it with the banks? Is it kind of like a spend money to make money kind of thing?
Oh, well, right now it is. So when this first happened, nobody wanted to spend the money. Everyone was nervous and scared because they were thinking about 2008. But now that they see more stability, yes, I know the market's still volatile and there's a lot of movement happening. But now that they have real stability, they see a light at the end of the tunnel, they see some of the changes happening, they're willing to be a little bit more. They're willing to take more risk right now than they were 3 years ago when the market started to shift in the opposite direction.
Gotcha. All right. Our final question this week: how do you handle a realtor who says all lenders are the same?
Okay. So I love this. Here's why I love this, okay? Usually this agent, the one that's saying this, it's going to trigger you. So most loan officers get triggered, they get frustrated. All lenders are the same. No, no, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. So I'm a little different. It depends on what you want out of this conversation. So number one, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to actually get real engagement? Then if you are, you want to facilitate the questions differently. So what I say is this: you know, I know you've been doing this a while, and so have I. And look, like maybe you're saying it to get me off the phone, and that's completely okay. But before I get off the phone and hang up with you, I want to just ask you one question. If all lenders were the same, every client would close on time, they would never feel confused, and they'd get the best possible deal. But you and I both know that's just not the reality of how real estate or mortgages work. So the question to you is really simple: are lenders all really the same? Or is it more so who is truly going to support your buyer to help minimize their costs so they're a raving fan of you every single step of the way? And that way you get paid without the chaos. Do you think that's more beneficial than with you having to deal with the chaos? That's my only question.
No,
And then
absolutely.
I always pause and I just wait, Tommy, and I put my phone on mute. And if the realtor wants to play, they're going to open up the conversation. And if they don't, and they want to get you off the phone, it's very rare I ever ask people to ask a yes or no question. But in this instance here, I want to know the agent I'm working with. Are they open to this conversation, or are they going to shut me off completely? And by saying that line, like, look, you might be trying to get me off the phone. The amount of times I've gotten somebody to smile or smirk or get a chuckle out of them, it's unbelievable. So that's how I handle it. Another way to do it is to use metaphors. Like saying all lenders are the same is like saying all chefs are the same. There's just so many different ways that you can leverage it. Now, understand, why are they doing it? Are they trying to piss you off? Are they trying to irritate you? Do they really believe it? Most of the realtors you talk to don't believe it. They're just trying to get you off the phone. So learn to handle it, learn to get in front of it, and then pivot your way out of it.
Yeah, and you did the thing, you made them laugh, hopefully, and then you presented facts that and you complimented them as well. So you complimented them saying, "I know you've been in this for a long time, so have I." And then you presented facts with that not all of these loans have been dealt with in the same way, in the same timely fashion, and the same all the attributes. And so you're presenting facts that they have to agree with, otherwise they're admitting that they haven't been in the industry a long time. So to hold up to that compliment, they kind of have to agree with you with those facts.
This is part of the yes train you and I've talked about before on here, where yeah, I do. I mean, I'm just straightforward with it,
Yeah.
and I approach it in such a way where it's like, come on, don't BS me,
Yeah.
like, I think all realtors are the same. If it was true, everybody would do the exact same. So all the numbers, right? If everybody was the same, think about this. There was, I think, 6 million total originations that happened last year. So that means every loan officer would have got the exact same business from every single, it would have been split evenly. It's not split evenly. 80-20 rule exists in the mortgage industry and the real estate industry. Top 20% are doing a majority of the volume. So that's just the
Absolutely.
reality of it.
Cool. Well, if you want your question answered on the Broker Power Up podcast, become an AIME member, join the Facebook group for Brokers Are Best, and submit your question. And if you're not a member, scan the QR code in this next ad, and we'll see you on the other side for some sales pitch training.
Are you a wholesale mortgage professional? Well, then the very first thing you need is a community to help you and your business grow. With AIME membership, your community is right here. Joining our community means never navigating the market alone or operating without a safety net ever again. We are 16,000 members strong of united wholesale professionals. From rookies to top-ranking originators, all dedicated to supporting each other's success so we can grow together. Beyond entry to the best community in the mortgage industry, AIME membership gives you the resources, tools, guidance, discounts, services, and support that help you and your wholesale business grow, thrive, and most importantly, close more loans. AIME membership connects you with leading wholesale lenders and vendors, offering you exclusive access, services, and discounts that save you more money while helping you make more money. Never get stuck on a loan again with our lender escalation program. Grow your network and skills with the wholesale industry's best conferences and networking events. Get the strategies and skills of top originators and industry innovators with AIME's cutting-edge wholesale mortgage education, resources, and content. AIME offers all of this and more, starting at a low price of $19.99 a month. You heard it here first, couple cups of Starbucks coffee. For you to learn more and get started, all you have to do is visit aimegroup.com, AIME group.com /membership. Your community is waiting.
All right, and we're back. How are we becoming better salespeople, John?
Yes, sir. So this is about those that are very rate focused, and this is so every industry that's sales related. When somebody calls in, they're gonna ask questions about like the big topics. So let me give you an idea, right? A doctor's office. When you go in and you have like you feel like there's a problem. You go in and you're like, okay, my back hurts. I've done a lot of research. I've been on Google. Like, I think it might be
WebMD.
yeah, exactly. I think it might be my sciatic, right? My sciatic nerve. It might be a pinch. I think it's my L, whatever it is. You go in there because of Google. Every other industry, clients are doing the exact same thing that you do. Because why? Well, we're all consumers in some shape, way, or form. So the first part of it is understand that frame first. The second part of it is this. Remember, they're not always looking for a number. And I know that because I've tested it. Here's how I've tested it, Tommy. Clients will say to me, "What's your rate?" And I'll say, "What payment are you looking for?" They go, "What? What? I'm sorry, what? Well, what payment are you looking for?" I'm not. Okay, so why is the rate important to you then if you don't know the payment you're looking for? Now I say this to you, that's not how I reply to clients, but remember, they don't know why they're asking for a rate. Because I'll pay less interest. All right, that's a fair statement, but that's a very general statement that is true across the board for everybody. So they're not looking for a number, they're looking for confidence, clarity, and control. They are out of control, just like when you go to the doctor and you Googled it and you go in, you think you have all these issues. All you're looking for is clarity and control. You don't want this pain anymore. I don't want my back turned anymore, doctor. That's really what I want. Your clients are coming in saying, I don't want to be screwed over. I am going to purchase the single handed The largest investment my family will make, this is for a majority of your clients. I'm about to make the biggest financial decision of my life. Can you please give me clarity? Can you please give me confidence? That's how I hear it. So
Yeah.
someone else hears an objection, Tommy. I hear clarity and confidence is what they're looking for. So let's start there. Change your framework. That's number one. The next thing is very simple. It's always acknowledge, frame, and ask questions. So here's what I do, right? That's a great question. It could depend on a few things. That's an easy way to acknowledge it. You can get aggressive clients. It doesn't really matter. Now, are you more focused on the rate, the monthly payment, or how much cash you want to keep in your pocket when it comes to closing?
Cash I want to keep in my pocket.
Okay, so out of the three of those, that's the most important thing to you. Is that correct?
Yeah, I just over the long period of 30 years, I want to make sure that I'm using my cash as wisely as possible.
So now what we did here, Tommy, is really simple. Number one is I didn't ignore the rate. I said, okay, so I made the rate part of the three focuses for them. I actually made it the first one. I hear you on the rate. So just to be on the same page with you, is the main concern rate, monthly payment, or cash you want to keep in your pocket? I've now acknowledged the rate. So you can't say I'm not answering it.
Yeah.
I'm acknowledging it, but I'm asking you what makes the most sense for you and your family. And you're right, Tommy. You know how many times I ask that question and they say my focus is just the rate? Very minimally. It happens. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, never once. That's a lie. The
That's a
client,
third of the choices.
exactly. And I'm giving myself more opportunity to take the conversation down the path that I know is best for the consumer. Well, John, how do you know what's best? Because this is what I do for a living. And I take that very seriously, just like I expect an attorney, a doctor I talk to take it very seriously when I enter the conversation with them. I need you to guide me. So that's one area. So there's also many ways to pivot out of this, and it's very important you pivot away. Look, at the end of the day, Tommy, I do know one thing. Me giving you the highest rate possible means that you and I aren't going to do business together. Is that a fair statement to make?
Yeah, I mean, if someone else has a lower rate, I would just save money, right?
I love that you brought that up. And that's why I think it's super important that you and I just have that agreement. And I expect you to shop, Tommy. I wouldn't blame you for doing it. You got to make sure that you're making the best decision for you and your family. But I just don't want to throw this out there. Um, what is the monthly payment or long term saving most important thing for you and your family, if you had to guess?
Long term saving.
Okay, long term savings. Now, where did that kind of philosophy come from, Tommy? Have you always been a long term saver, or is that something you've had to build over time?
Um, Probably over the last 5 years or so, and I feel like I'm just a little bit behind, but I'm slowly catching up, and I don't want to lose the progress I've made.
I love that, and what I do love is you're making an investment into yourself by looking into buying this home, and I think that's just a special thing. I'm glad you're getting on that right path over the last 5 years. So, when it comes to rates, I wanna make sure that you and I are dialing in exactly what you and your family need. Now, I could throw a number out there, but the reality is it doesn't really mean anything until I understand the full picture. So, with your permission, may I ask you a few more questions to make sure I give you the absolute accurate rate?
Oh, of course. I'm happy to answer 'em.
Tommy, real talk, Tommy, what's your feeling right now of this
I wanna know
conversation?
more because you're listening to me. You're incorporating my desires or my wants to or even needs, I guess, when it comes a decision this big, to be heard.
And it's a natural flowing conversation. It's very natural. I'm
I
just
wanna keep going
asking
because 'cause I'm learning.
that, and that I'm educating, answering slowly. Now, am I giving them everything? No. And if there's consumers out there that listen to this, I need to just be very upfront and blunt with all of you. We rates legitimately right now are changing almost every couple hours at this point. It works with the stock market. So when the stock market opens up, interest rates open up. If you're ever interested, the 10-year treasury bond, if you look at it, when that number goes up, generally interest rates follow and go up with it. When that number goes down, generally interest rates follow and go down. So just watch it. It's not perfect, but it's a very great indicator of where interest rates are moving. But clients, when you guys ask that question, a majority of the time we don't know, that's just a fact is we don't know. So keep
You're
that in the
asking
back
a
of your
crystal
head.
ball.
And that's what it is. You know, if I knew what rates are exactly every day, I wouldn't be in this industry. I would be a multi-billionaire sitting on an island somewhere having a blast, drinking out of my crystal ball. Is
Now
exactly what I
tell
would
me
do.
if I'm wrong, but it's what's the price of Bitcoin in 5 years? Or what's the price of Bitcoin in 5 months, I guess, when I'm
See,
possibly gonna, yeah.
you're already implementing. That's
Mhm.
exact like, you could even take that approach as a salesperson. We all have different sales approaches, right? I'm a little bit more, aggressive than some people might like. There's people more aggressive than me. There's people a lot less, and they're like, "John, it's not my style." That's fine too. Doesn't mean you can't ask the right questions, and look what Tommy just did. Hey, that's like me asking you how much Bitcoin's going to be in the next 5 years. Because I'll tell you this: if I knew Bitcoin was going to go to this in 2013, I'd have spent every dollar I had on it. Is that a fair statement for you to make? For me to make? Would you have
Yeah.
done the same thing?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
so that's you're picking right up on it. That's exactly how you navigate these conversations.
And
So, I
it's
hope
such an
that
easy,
helps.
yeah, and it's such an easy thing to answer because it's hindsight's 2020. You you're here in 2025. You know what it was. You know what it is. You can answer that question now. So, if anyone was wondering what rates were on today, we can tell you. Tomorrow, we don't know.
Correct.
Cool. Well, if you want to become a better salesperson live and in person, you can come visit us at Fuse. If you are an AIM member, you can claim your ticket now. If you are an AIM annual member, premium, elite, or VIP, please go check your email, check our socials, check the website, and go and claim your ticket. It is included in your annual membership. If you are not an AIM member, tickets are going to be open up soon. So keep an eye on the website, and there's a wait list you can join, or you can just become an AIM member and get your ticket. So on the other side of this ad, we'll have story time with John.
Fuse is just around the corner, believe it or not, another year down. And we are excited for the largest event of the entire wholesale mortgage industry. Fuse National Conference 2025 is taking its show on the road. Now emanating from Nashville, Tennessee, from October 23rd through the 25th. This event is all about sales, sales, sales. Don't miss the chance to join us in Music City for 3 days full of the most cutting edge content we've ever produced, featuring the industry's top minds, leaders, and innovators. Access the newest tools and resources from wholesale leading lenders and vendors. Take part in our acclaimed workshop summits for free. Catch wholesale's rising stars in their very own breakout sessions. And of course, take part in the best and, quite frankly, the most fun networking opportunities you'll find in the wholesale channel. Join us to grow your network, your skill set, and your business at what will no doubt be the greatest Fuse conference yet. Go to fuse.aimgroup.com to sign up and receive updates when tickets go on sale. Secure your hotel room and get your Fuse tickets for free. That's a $600 value for the prices as low as $199 when you sign up for an AIM annual membership. Don't miss your chance to be there when wholesale history is made at Fuse 2025. I can't wait to see you there.
All right, and we're back for story time with John. I'm going to pop in the back, and I'll see you on the other side.
All right. You know, I'm going to keep this going with the art of questions. And we talked a bit about it last week, but I want to drive home another story that I believe a lot of you are very aware of. There's actually a comedian who made an entire skit out of this. His name is Bill Burr. And he talked about Steve Jobs and Apple. And what people don't understand is the way that Steve Jobs helped create some of this stuff. His partner was brilliant and obviously continues to be brilliant. But think about the iPod for a second, right? Do y'all remember that getting the iPod? I do. I remember loading up my songs. I remember going to the gym and you had that spinning wheel going around it over and over again. Well, here's how that got brought up, okay? They didn't go in there and say, "How do we make an MP3 player that stores songs?" They didn't say that. There was MP3 players that were out. Steve went around and here's what he said. He said, "What if you could carry 1,000 songs in your pocket?" That was his question. Everybody else's heads popped up. They all looked around and they said, "What's this guy talking about? What does he mean 1,000 songs in your pocket?" And then the iPod started. And that single question helped Apple start to problem solve. That single question changed the entire way Apple thought about products, Apple thought about business. It's not about the technicality. It's about asking the questions that you don't know that we need to ask. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, John, that's really difficult. It is really difficult, but here's the good news. You have a lot of tools at your fingertips now. You have ChatGPT. I would highly recommend you listen to one of your calls, you transcribe it, you record it, you upload it to ChatGPT and say, what questions could I have asked differently than what I asked this consumer, this client? Do it for presentations, do it for whatever you want. See, when you start to get into this mindset, you're no longer solving a transaction. Because if you're just solving a transaction, all of your context, every conversation you have becomes a transactional conversation. You now become the type of person that's solving for the future. And now when these clients start thinking about the future and they start thinking, they start having kids and their kids start getting homes and their friends are buying homes, they start thinking about you, not as the person that solved their transaction, but as the person that helped them set up their future. And that's what Apple does. Apple gets you excited to want to buy their products. Apple gets you ready, it gets you pumped up. And all of that started by asking a question that people did not know we needed to ask. So great companies like great salespeople, see, they grow when they stop answering what's asked and start questioning what's assumed. What questions are you asking to lead you to the next big relationship that you're looking for? Or do you get frustrated? Do you freak out? Could you imagine the developers around Steve Jobs at the time when he said to them, hey, how can we carry 1,000 songs in our pocket? Could you imagine the ones that were super negative and said, oh, we're not, it's impossible, you can't do it? Could you imagine what that would have done, how that would have shaped, how that would have made things differently? But instead, all of these people bought in to the plan. They bought into what he was talking about simply because of the questions that were asked. And I'm going to continue to drive this point home. That's all sales is. That's all communication is your ability to ask the questions that nobody else is thinking about. It actually makes you very memorable. This is a memorable story. People remember it. People talk about it to this day, many years later, even after Steve's passing. How do your clients talk about you? Are you the first person that comes to their mind when they think about maybe purchasing a new home, refinancing their current home, giving you a referral? The data indicates we're not as mortgage broker. The data indicates that as a mortgage broker, less than 10% of clients remember who did their loan after the first year. And we've given that stat before. So, wouldn't you like to be more memorable? Wouldn't you like to be the guy or gal that's leveraged every single time this potential family is looking to do a home or any kind of transaction of any sort? Well, you have the opportunity by making yourself memorable by asking the right questions. I appreciate you all, and that's my story.
The power of questions.
Yes, sir.
It all comes down to that. I I love that story. I love the Steve Jobs iPod story. It really makes you think about, like you said, the power of the question and not but asking the question that people aren't thinking to ask. And it just puts you on a you're almost on like a different wavelength when you're able to ask those questions, where you're able to pivot the direction of an entire team with a question. Like everyone was heading this way, sold. Oh, we go this way, we do this, we walk down this path. I wake up, I walk down this path, I go to sleep. I wake up, I walk down this path, I go to sleep. Well, what if we took that path, the one off to the right? Today, we what if we just did that one? You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's as
and
simple as that, but it's also as hard as that.
and it is hard, Tommy. And here's why it's hard. Like there was people, think about it. They believe the earth was flat. right? For the longest time. And I know there's still flat earthers out there. I'm sorry, I can't jump on ship. I just can't do it. Um, but there was even that, right? And asking those questions, trying to understand the philosophy behind it, and hey, we have things that are that are discrepant from this. And so I also understand the fear because a lot of those people got ridiculed, got attacked, got pointed at. And so there is a sense of overcoming, like who can I ask the right questions to? So I do get all of that. But Tommy, you're right. You can't figure out the new wave, what's coming up next, what's happening if you don't learn to ask the right questions.
But you also need the people to listen and follow you on that path.
Yes, they got to believe in it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, anything else before we call this a podcast?
No, sir.
Well, thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Broker Power Up podcast. If you found today's tips helpful, do us a favor. Hit the like button to let us know you enjoyed it, which helps even more people see this content. Subscribe to your YouTube channel, our YouTube channel. Ring the bell to get notified every time we drop new content, and share this video with a fellow broker who could use a power up. Remember to lead by example, to lift each other up, to grow together, and most importantly, close more loans. Until next time, keep powering up.
Take care.